This is a pretty beer, and it's time to taste it officially. So I've got my recipe sheet here because if you just watched the video before this, I didn't really cover any of the recipe. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been kind of trying something new with these videos. I've been keeping my brew day videos kind of more to my normal editing style. But for the tasting, it almost feels like I need to kind of just sit down and kind of go over it a little bit more, go over the recipe and everything, and just kind of been trying to do this with like a one take sort of approach. Obviously, that doesn't work perfectly all the time, but trying to do like a one take approach. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you guys watched the video before this. If you didn't, stick around to the end. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. That way you can watch that video as well too. This beer, well, I mean, I honestly haven't been making a lot of videos because I haven't been really drinking as much beer, which means I'm not going through beer as fast, which means I don't get to make as much beer. But I've got about 3 beers on tap right now. They're all pretty good. This one I have not had for a few weeks. I am really happy to see that the clarity has stayed hazy because it is supposed to be a hazy IPA. So I think I've got my haze stability kind of nailed in most of my recipes. So let's just taste this thing real quick. First of all, I'll go off of aroma. I'm going to have to refresh my memory on the recipe as well too. Very juicy, citrusy, but there's some sort of other fruit in there. I want to say it's almost like a tropical fruit. It's not pineapple. Maybe more like a guava. It smells really good. It smells really refreshing. I'm going to go in for a sip here, see how... I've had this beer, but I haven't had it for a few weeks, so... Yeah. Citrusy. Little citrus. But then, like I said, there's like that kind of tropical note in there. Good mouthfeel, pretty light on the mouthfeel, but it still has a little bit of that body that you would expect from kind of a hazy. I always refer to it kind of as pillowy. It's got decent head retention. Trying to get a good... Yeah, I want to say kind of like almost like a guava or a melon. It's really good. So let me refresh my memory and yours on the recipe. So I've been making 2.5 gallon batches, so it's a smaller batch. Used 8 pounds total, 8 pounds, 11 ounces total of fermentables. 5.5 of those pounds were of Golden Promise. Oh yeah, Golden Promise. It's got a good malty sweetness on the backbone. Golden Promise is a really good malt to use for hazies. If you haven't tried it, I highly suggest it. And then I used 1 pound, 4 ounces of flaked oats, just over 1 pound of Vienna malt, some rice hulls, and then about 6 ounces of golden naked oats. I really find that those oats kind of add that like orangey flavor. This is a really pretty hazy. It's got that like deep, dark, golden hue to it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is a nice looking beer. Mashed it 152. I think on this one, I did an overnight mash. I'm not 100% sure though, so I won't say it. I've been doing overnight mashes lately, but I don't even remember on this one. Okay, hops. Only did a 30-minute boil. Yeah, I did overnight mash this one. It went really well. So I got really good efficiency. Ended up, I don't even know what the alcohol volume is on this. I'm going to have to check here in a second because it's not what it came out to be. I think I got better efficiency than what's on my Brewfather printout. So I did hop it at 30 minutes with Magnum. So 30 IBUs at 30 minutes of Magnum. And then the next hops were just a 10-minute hop stand of Amarillo, Citra, and Galaxy. Had some of that left over. I believe the Citra was a cryo Citra. So it had a little bit higher IBU. So I did about 2 IB. Well, I did about 15.6 grams of each Amarillo, Citra, and Galaxy, and then I dry hopped it at day 2. I did a dry hop of Amarillo and Citra, 10 grams each of Amarillo and Citra, and that was at like a high Kreuzen dry hop to kind of help with that haze. And then after fermentation was done, I did Citra, Galaxy, and Mosaic. So now we started out, the thing about recording is we started out and it was nice and quiet, and now you can hear kids in the backyard just screaming, so hopefully it's not too distracting. And I mean, if you're wondering what it's like trying to film a YouTube video in your backyard in the neighborhood on a Saturday afternoon, I mean, you're dealing with so many noises from everybody else, so hopefully maybe I can drown it out in the background. It's probably a way to do that in my editing software. I'm going to try to drown it out. Okay, I need to figure out the alcohol percentage. And in order to do that, I need to go consult my Brewfather app because it has everything in there. What yeast did I use? Oh yeah, I used juice. I did tell you guys that in the video. I did use juice yeast, which I really like that yeast. It did not ferment. It fermented out down to 1.016. Got 2.5 gallons racked over, and my ABV was exactly 6 on the dot, which is kind of high for the beers that I normally drink. But 6 is perfect for a hazy IPA. It's got just enough punch, just enough bitterness, and just enough sweetness and flavor from the hops to like really make it a really well-balanced hazy. Easy to drink, definitely different from what I am normally used to. Like right now, I am absolutely like on a lager kick. I'm just digging the light, cool, clear, crisp lagers, maybe even some amber lagers. But just when it's hot here in the valley, it's nice to have something cool and refreshing. This is not bad. I mean, I can definitely put back a few of these and not feel the effects too much. Just maybe with that hop presence, it's not quite as thirst quenching, but I could see how people could drink this and be like, oh yeah, I mean, I get a little hint of orange, little hint of grapefruit in there. Definitely like that guava or like almost like a melony character. And then there is almost like a nice little like skunk, just a little bit. It's just way back in there. But I usually get that with Mosaic. For me, I kind of pick that up. Definitely a fantastic beer. If you're interested in the recipe, I will go ahead and post it down in the description. If you didn't see the first video, go back and watch it. I'll link it right up here. Go back and watch it. And anyway, cheers. Thanks for watching.